everyone, and welcome back to a brand new edition of The Odds Honest Truth. I am Craig Gorbanoff alongside Rich Wilhelm every single week to give you all the greatest sports bets for this week in sports. We are, of course, thankful to our friends over at the In the Money Media Network for hosting this wonderful show, the Peter Thomas Fornatels, Jonathon Kinchens, and Drew Coatneys of the world. Plus, we wouldn't be anywhere without our good friends over at Chalkboard. And Rich, I realized that we're doing the giveaway today. We're giving away a bottle of whiskey today.
Yeah.
So we'll do that a little later in the show. Stay tuned. And of course, we'll put it all in the description and get in contact with whoever the winner is. But we're giving away that bottle of whiskey today. But you should still get involved with Chalkboard anyway, because we're giving out all kinds of free bets. So we were giving away whiskey. We're also just giving away free money. All you got to do is download the Chalkboard app today completely for free and head on over to the Odds Honest Truth board. It's growing. I think we're at
372.
372. 372. We're hoping to get to 400 members by Christmas. And I think we'll do that because we have a really great community of bettors there. We had a 7-team or 7-way parlay cash in our board the other day. And then just in general, we were giving out winners left and right last week, Rich. I mean, we went 7 for 7, 8 for 8.
We were 7 for 7.
7 for 7.
Yeah.
I had a nice little parlay cash. I mean, we made some money last week, so we're gonna come right back and we're gonna do it again. So get involved over on Chalkboard. You can see all of our plays from every sport. Talk with a great community of bettors and have a lot of fun. So, Rich, let's dive right into Thursday Night Football, and then we'll announce our whiskey winner a little bit later. It's a really fun matchup. It's an important matchup in the AFC West. Why don't you kick things off here? Who do you like in this Chargers-Chiefs game, and what are some of your angles?
So, I mean, this game, I would love this game to be the AFC Championship game somehow. You know, these are two teams that are red hot, staying red hot, and kind of are consistent. You know, in the beginning of the year, the Chiefs were a question mark. People were like, oh, they're not going to even make the playoffs. Not me. I mean, if we go back and listen to these shows, I mean, even when they were on like a 3-game losing streak, I said the Chiefs are still the team until they're not. And they're playing great football right now. So are the Chargers, though. You know, you look at Justin Herbert. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league, you know, and he did it in a short amount of time. He's following the path of Mahomes. With all that being said, that means I don't know what I like in this game as far as spread-wise. I'm just going to watch a nice football game and not touch this spread at all. The spread right now, I think, is -3 for the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Chiefs win this game, but I don't even know if it's by a field goal. So a game like this, I like to do the player props. And there's a lot of fun ones in here. You know, normally we do straightforward ones like yards and everything else like that. But there's a lot of super boost on this one that I think are fun and could definitely cash. The first one that I like is Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Austin Eckler both to score. Austin Eckler scores every game. Let's not even like try to sugarcoat it. He scores every game. He's a little hobbled right now, which is why they're even doing plus odds on this. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire scored last game. And I think he's definitely going to be, you know, obviously the target in the red zone. So that is plus 300, which is crazy odds for something that's probably going to happen.
For the two starting running backs to get a touchdown. It seems fairly likely.
Yeah. Two starting running backs on two top 10 teams.
Right.
$25 wins you 100. So, I mean, even if you want to put $250 down to win 10, that's still a nice return for something like that. The second one that I like, just because it normally happens, Austin Eckler to have the first Chargers touchdown. Now, I didn't do first touchdown in general because if you look at the Chiefs, they have so many weapons, and they're probably going to score first. You know, if you look at Tyreek Hill and Kelsey and, you know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even Mahomes. Mahomes was the first one who got a touchdown last week with a rushing touchdown. So I want to take that stress off the table. Keenan Allen's coming back. But I think Eckler, even though hobbled, he'll get in the end zone first. That one's at plus 275. $25 wins you 93.75. Kind of along the same lines as the first one. A little easier one. And the only reason the line is this low for Travis Kelce is because last week he kind of laid an egg. The week before, he laid a bit of an egg as well. So his receiving yards are at 64.5. Normally, he does that in his sleep. So the odds for that are negative 115. 25 wins you 46.74. And it wouldn't be a bet show if I didn't give you a kicker, because I give you a kicker every single week.
That's the kicker.
That's the kicker. Harrison Buckner, over 2.5 extra points. I also kind of like him for field goals too, because I think this could be a high scoring game. But I'm not touching the 52 because that's very high. Minus 125. Harrison Buckner over 2.5 extra points. 25 wins you 45. A lot of fun ones. This is going to be a really fun kickoff to the week. We got Thursday night football. We got Saturday football. We got Sunday football. We got Monday football. And with COVID, we might have Tuesday football. We'll just have to pay attention. That's a big disclaimer for the show. With all the stuff that's happened, I think it's 80 people that are on COVID list this week.
Yeah.
These are subject to change. So we're going to do our Sunday show and kind of update everything. But as of right now, I love all those bets.
Yeah, I really like where your head's at. I think when you look at the Chargers, it is really centered around Eckler. He's always getting into the end zone. He's a player that you definitely want to put some dollars behind. Taking a look at just a couple of the betting trends here with these teams over their last couple of games. Chargers are 4-1 in the last 5 games. They're 3-2 against the spread. Whereas the Chiefs are 3-2 over the last 5, but they're 1-4 against the spread. So I know you're staying away from the spread. I think that's actually for a good reason, because the other stat that I think is kind of interesting is in their road games against the spread, the Chiefs are 3-2, which brings all that back around to saying I think it's a bit of a coin flip with the spread and -3. These are 2 good teams. It could go either way. My gut actually tells me I think the Chargers might squeak this one out. But again, there's a lot of things subject to change. You're going to have to stay tuned to our Sunday show, which we're going to be doing a little bit different this week. We're going to be going live on Twitter. So make sure you follow the show at Odds Honest Truth, and you'll get notified when we go live. And it'll be there for replay value as well. We'll pin it to the top. It'll be right there on Twitter for you. But we'll be going live on Twitter Sunday. We typically do the show around 11:30. Might be noon. We'll come up with an exact time and let you guys know via the interwebs, the magic of the interwebs. Rich, anything else you want to add about Thursday Night Football?
No, just enjoy it. It's like one of the games of the year. So, and the Chargers won the first time they played this year, but 2 different teurs going into this one. So
it's a very different NFL than it was just even a few short weeks ago. All right, guys. So let's transition now from the gridiron to the hardwood. We got David Dubovi talking about college basketball, and we have Jared Strenner coming back talking about the NBA. Guys, take it away.
What's going on, everyone? Back for another week of college basketball bets. Here are 3 to keep an eye on for this upcoming weekend. Starting off on this Friday, we got 9th-ranked Nova versus Creighton. This is kicking off Big East play. I think Creighton's going to win this game, and I got the under as well. This is going to be a very defensive game and a very low-scoring game, as Big East games tend to be. Next up on Saturday, we got 15th-ranked Ohio State versus Kentucky, which is ranked 21 in the nation. Kentucky's playing with a chip on their shoulder and an extra edge after the tragedy this week in Kentucky with the tornadoes. So for this reason, I got Kentucky winning this in a very high-scoring game versus Ohio State. So for that reason, I also got the over as well. And lastly, on Saturday, we have Iona versus 16th-ranked Seton Hall. As you know, Seton Hall is my favorite team. They're playing at MSG. Iona's coming off a big win versus Bama and a close loss versus Kansas. This is a great quad 1 opportunity for both teams. So I got Seton Hall winning, Iona keeping it close, so I bet the Iona spread, and I also got the under. This is going to be a very low-scoring and also defensive game as well. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next week.
Hey, thank you, guys. So just a one national matchup on Thursday night. It's the 76ers at the Nets. Now these teams have only played each other once so far this season. The Nets ended up winning that one 114-109. and I think they get it done here again at the Barclays Center. Kevin Durant and James Harden have just been a two-headed monster for the Nets. Durant is leading the league in scoring, averaging 29.6 points per game. Meanwhile, Harden is averaging 9.6 assists per game. That's enough for second best in the league. And the Nets have been cruising. They're first in the East. They're 20-8. Meanwhile, the 76ers had that great start to the season, but they've kind of fallen back down to earth since then. They're currently 6th in the East, and they've won 5 of the last 10. And they're going to be coming off a game the night before against the Heat, who are known to play their good defense. So expect them to be a little tired, maybe missing a step. One big advantage that the 76ers do have, though, is in their centers. Joel Embiid is arguably the number 1 center in the league when healthy. And they also picked up Andre Drummond in the offseason, and he's really helped out that team a lot. He's their leader in rebounds, and he's filled in quite nicely when Embiid has been out injured. And speaking of Embiid being out injured, he could be for this game. Now, he was out on Monday in their loss to the Grizzlies, and he's currently listed as day-to-day. He participated in a shoot-around on Wednesday, but between then and now, who knows what's going to happen. Overall, I think the Nets take this one because it's just hard to argue against Kevin Durant. And because of just the one national game, I got a little bonus pick for you guys. It's the Knicks at the Rockets, and I'm taking Rockets all day because the Knicks are just plain bad. Now, I say this as a Knicks fan who's tried to watch these games, and I have to tune out because it is not pretty to watch. Evan Fournier looks awful. Julius Randle, some games he looks really good, other games he looks lost out there. And to top it all off, they're battling COVID right now. RJ Barrett's out, Obi Toppin's out, and Creighton Grimes is out. Not to mention, poor Clyde Frazier is also in health and safety protocol, so please, Clyde, be all right. But yes, no, we are going Rockets here. Rockets that got off that really bad start to the season. I forget how long it took them to win their first game. But no, they've got like a little bit going here. They've got themselves out of the very last place in the West. Meanwhile, the Knicks, they got off to a very good start, and then the wheels have just completely fallen off. So we are going Rockets here. We're going Nets for the other game. And check out my picks on Chalkboard. I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you so much, David and Jarrett. From the hardwood to the ice, we got Thomas Crincoli with your NHL bets. Thomas, how are we making money?
What's going on, guys? This is Tom Crincoli from Odds Honest Truth coming to you for December 16th, I think. Yeah, it's a Thursday, December 16th. Yesterday was the 15th. That would make sense. Rich and Craig are jerks. They make me do Thursday night games where there's a billion picks to make, but luckily for us and unluckily for the league, there's a lot of COVID going on right now. So there's not as many picks out there as I would have intended. I think there was supposed to be like 11 or 12 games on for Thursday night, and now there are like 7. So I'm going to start out in Philadelphia, where the Flyers are freaking hot right now. So, or you can grab them at -135 against the Canadians, who stink this year. That's an easy bet for me. Grab them. Flyers money line -135. We anticipated Carter Hart in that. He's having a little bit of a renaissance here. So take that. That's my first pick of the night. All right, second pick of the night. We're going over to Ottawa, playing the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning. What is going on here with Ottawa? I mean, seriously, they were one of my favorite puck line covers last year. Not a great team. The rebuild, Pierre Dorian, not over. You're still rebuilding that team. But where you can get the Ottawa Senators at +1.5 with almost, I think it's less than -130 odds, easy to take that. Take that every single day. You're getting a goal and a half. So essentially, if the Senators are rolling the way they're rolling, take that 1.5, take that money line, sprinkle it, put a little sprinkle on it. You're going to be good for there. Ottawa Senators, take them while they're hot. And even if they fall off a cliff, put like half units on this. I think it's too much value to not skip on the Ottawa Senators while they're killing. They just blew out the Florida Panthers 8-2, Tampa Bay Lightning 4-0 the other night. Playing Tampa again, I'm pretty sure the revenge narrative here is that Tampa's going to be a little bit annoyed, upset that they lost so badly to Ottawa. Not buying it. Take this team. They're hot. Put as much as you want on it. Don't go crazy, though. It's still the Ottawa Senators, but a lot of value there. Okay, last pick. San Jose Sharks, money line -130 against the, I forget who they were playing, but give me 1 second and I will remember here. Sorry, I like this pick and I got too excited for a second, but all right, here we go. They're playing the Vancouver Canucks, and this is an opposite play here. They are playing the Vancouver Canucks, who have been insanely hot since their new coaching hire. San Jose just lost one against the Seattle Kraken that I thought they should have won that game. I mean, the Seattle Kraken, they're all over the place this year. They're not the new expansion Golden Knights that we've seen. They definitely have their struggles. So, all right, let's take. So to recap right here, we're going to go Flyers money line -135. We'll go Senators +1.5, sprinkle that money line. And then we'll go San Jose Sharks money line -130. Those are my picks. Take them, don't take them, don't care. Let's win. Thanks, guys.
What's happening, guys? Let's talk about Saturday night football. Not Thursday night, not Sunday night, not Monday night. Saturday night football. The New England Patriots go to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Pats are 2.5-point road dogs. I actually have them winning outright, 25-24. This is one of those games, typically, you look throughout his entire career. Belichick off the bye, usually pretty hard to beat. I like Indianapolis. I think they're sneaky. I think they're actually one of the best teams in the AFC. I think New England is the best team in the AFC. And no, I'm not saying that because I'm a homer. All the numbers would suggest it. Not just the fact that the defense is stout, but the offense is actually clicking along as well. And the whole narrative being spun about Mac throwing the ball 3 times in Buffalo in the midst of a gale, all of a sudden he can't play. That's nonsense. I like New England. If you're someone who likes to take some points, nothing wrong with that. +2.5. I have to be honest. I'm seeing the money line a couple different places right now. This is saying +125. That's where I would go. Saturday night football. Patriots at the Colts. Give me the Pats. +125 on the money line.
Odds, honest truth. What's going on? We're back this week. I'm going to give you another 3-team teaser. I love getting 7 points in my favor. This game's tough to beat if you're just playing against the spread designed to be a coin flip. The first game that I'll give you, I really like the Packers -5.5. The line started a little bit lower, starting to creep up. I think there may be some uncertainty about whether or not Aaron Rodgers would play. I seen the line at -5.5. I like when games start moving higher and you tease them back down because there's a lot of money that has to move them in that direction. And sometimes that movement doesn't really account for some of the changes that might be. I like the Packers getting teased down to just needing to win. Depending on where you get the line, you might get that extra point and a half. Because I do want to do a 17 teaser because I like the Pats and the Colts under. It's 45.5 right now. You can get it up to 52.5 if you do a 7-point teaser. And I like the Pats and the Colts for a couple of reasons. The Colts are going to run the football. Jonathon Taylor, obviously an unbelievable running back. They're going to run the ball. The Patriots are going to play defense. They're going to run the ball. Mac Jones missed practice on Wednesday with a little bit of a thumb injury. He's not going to be out there throwing it all over the yard. I think there's a likely chance that this game will stay under. And then the last game I'll give you is the Cardinals seeing -13, 13.5. You can tease them down to 6.5. Get under that touchdown mark, and all you need is for the Cardinals to win by a touchdown. The Lions are not very good. Maybe they're starting to figure it out, but I don't think they are. I think they got a little bit lucky. I think the Cardinals are a legit football team, good on defense, has some nice players on offense. Gonna hurt to not have DeAndre Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins, no real receiver, is gonna make a huge difference when you're trying to get to that 13.5 or that 7. It's about the team effort, and a lot of times the line will reflect that, and I think that's a problem. So there's your teaser, Pats, Colts, under, Packers, and Cardinals. Good luck.
All right, everybody's favorite time for the college football bowl season is upon us. Alan Suter, how are we getting paid?
Hey, Craig. Hey, Rich. Good to be back on. Took a short break last week, Army-Navy game. Gave a play out, though, on the chalkboard, odds honest truth board. And, hey, we hit same game parlay, the under 35 and maybe +7. Remember, get a ton of amazing plays from cappers, not only like myself, but tons of folks. It's a big community. And this bowl season is going to be very interesting. A lot of value out there to be gathered. Hope to see you there, giving your picks on the board along with me. I will be providing picks for every game, all bowl season. So I will have a write-up and a pick for every game, even the games I wish I didn't have eyes for. But starting off, got 4 games over the span of our first 3 days of bowls. Starting off Friday, the Chanticleers taking on the Huskies of Northern Illinois. Chanticleers laying 10.5. Have a slight lean towards the over, but my play here is going to be on the Chanticleers. Look, Grayson McCall's the real deal. This team has been consistent. When you look at their defensive efficiencies, pretty darn good. Stack up pretty well, around 60th in the country. And I think that's going to be a real tough thing for Northern Illinois to get past. Remember, the MAC has been horrific defensively this year. And Northern Illinois is a team that has given up. And this is an unbelievable stat. Last 5 games, averaging 260 yards on the ground. Chanticleers can run it. They can throw it. I think Grayson McCall has a field day. I think Coastal Carolina covers this easily. This is still a program that needs bowl wins. And they're going to rack another one up here. That is a Friday night game. Fast forward a few hours, Saturday. Saturday comes, and 2 teams that I absolutely love that I've been following all season long, App State and my Hilltoppers, the fighting Bailey Zappies, as I call them. Look, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky and Wake Forest are 2 of my favorite teams to bet on this year, and on this channel for the sheer fact that they're consistent. Western Kentucky has not played a defense of real note. Shout out to my Spartans, worst pass defense in the country. Indiana turned out to be just an absolute mess. And Conference USA, almost as bad, you can make the case, if not worse than the MAC when it comes to defenses. And I think Bailey Zappi's going to struggle here. I think it's a big task for them to go up against what is realistically a top 25 defense in the country. When you adjust for efficiencies, they certainly are that. This App State team can get after you. They play defense, and offensively, they do one thing that really stifles Western Kentucky, and that is run the ball with Noel and Cameron Peoples. I think they're going to just both have over 100 yards rushing. I think they own the clock. Kind of tempted to take the under here, but again, the play for the show will be App State laying the 3. Fast forward to the nighttime, the Frisco Bowl, or the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, not the Frisco Bowl, the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl, Utah State taking on Oregon State. I think there's 2 plays here. The over, both teams can score, but I also like Utah State here, and Devin Tompkins, All-American wide receiver, over 1,500 yards receiving this year. Logan Bonner can sling it. I mean, it's not just Tompkins. It's Brandon Bowling, too. They got a nice tight end. They're able to run somewhat efficiently. Oregon State can score, but I think Utah State has every opportunity not only cover the 7.5, but also win outright. I'll be sprinkling in that money line, 2 plays in that game, and then I'll wrap it up with Monday, a big bowl game, the one we all been waiting for, Tulsa taking on Old Dominion. And Old Dominion, this is a team that was 1-6 last year. Just a team that's really struggled in that bump up to D1 from FCS. But they really did acquit themselves okay in the Conference USA, beating your FIUs, beating your FAUs, beating, the lower rungs of Conference USA. However, they haven't played a team like Tulsa. Tulsa had coming off a win against SMU. I mean, they played Houston tough. They've played teams really tough. They won 3 out of their last 4, which is actually pretty impressive. And they should have what they want here. And I feel comfortable laying double digits here at 10 with Tulsa. Give me the Golden Hurricanes. Folks, we'll have more picks for you next week. Best of luck to you. And back to you, Craig and Rich.
All right, guys, it is time to give away the ever so precious In the Money Media rye whiskey. It's an Empire rye whiskey aged in apple brandy barrels for no less than 4 years, made by the Albany Distilling Company. Peter Thomas Fornatel picked out the barrel himself. There's some good pictures of that over at trfinc.org/players. If you are not the winner of our giveaway, you can get a bottle of this yourself as a gift. Head on over to trfinc.org/players and make a charitable donation to the TRF and receive either this bottle, or they're also gifting a limited edition bottles of Woodford Reserve that are autographed by Graham Motion, who is a trainer. I think it's autographed by Graham Motion. I don't know. I'm kind of botching that part of it. It's listed somewhere on the website. If you're a fan, head on over to trfinc.org/players. They have this bottle. They have the limited edition Woodford Reserve as well. But our winner of the In the Money Media bottle of whiskey is going to be user Castro88 from our chalkboard board, which is Simon Castro. Simon, congratulations. We will be getting in touch with you over the next couple of days to get you your bottle of whiskey. Congratulations on winning this incredible gift just in time for the holidays. Hopefully, maybe Pete's good enough to mail it. It'll get there by New Year's, I'm sure. Very cool. Congratulations again, Simon. Get involved on Chalkboard today. Who knows? This giveaway went really well for us. Maybe we'll do another one soon. I'll put in a good word with the man with the hat, Mr. Fornatel himself. All right, Rich. Let's dive on into NFL Sunday. And of course, this is a bit of a precursor to our Sunday live stream on Twitter. And there's a lot of subjects to change. There's a lot of people in COVID protocols. There's injuries that could happen. Who knows? Anything could happen between now and then. It is Wednesday, December 15th at 1:26 p.m. in the afternoon. We both should be working our day jobs. We're not. We're degenerates. Let's talk some NFL, and let's kick things off with what I think is going to be the lock of the week here. The Dallas Cowboys minus 10.5 against the New York Football Giants, who just got the dog poop kicked out of them by the Chargers, who we just talked about in the last segment. I realize I'm stealing the first thing here, but I really like this. I'm going to base a couple of parlays around this. The Cowboys are just a really, really good football team. And I know they almost gave up the spread last week against the football team, Washington football team, but they didn't. They held on. And additionally, the Giants are so much worse.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, minus 10.5. I think that number is going to go up. Just any team that's starting Mike Glennon is not the team for me. If you're a fantasy football, player, you definitely want to get Saquon Barkley in there because he had a really good game with Glennon because Glennon can only throw it short and just hope for the best. But yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are full strength. We said it last week, which is why I picked them over the football team. I mean, the Giants are just getting decimated, not only with injuries, but inexperience and then COVID now. I mean, they're one of the teams that's getting hit. John Ross is out. John Ross has been out kind of on his own accord for the entire season. But, if you're just looking at their roster, there's a lot of injuries and the Cowboys are just staying healthy. And they have a defense that just is going to give Mike Glennon fits. I imagine Micah Parsons to get, at least 2 sacks in this game, because he's going to be the defensive rookie of the year for sure. So $25 wins you $47.73, not a ton. But if you do 250, it wins you $477.73. So, up it accordingly because this is something that's probably going to go up. So if you listen to the show on Thursday, bet it Thursday because by Sunday this could be at minus 13.5. So yeah, I agree with you, Craig. 1 for 1 on that one. I'm going to go right to another 10.5 though. I mean, normally, the big spreads are a little scary sometimes, but when it's the Buffalo Bills who, they got a little robbed last week against the Buccaneers. I mean, they got a lot of non-calls and, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the game that it was bad. Josh Allen does have a sprained ankle, so keep that in mind. Obviously, if his sprained ankle turns into something more, don't bet this. If Josh Allen plays this, you definitely want to bet the Bills minus 10.5. Again, it's, the odds are negative 110, 25 wins you 47.73. They're against the Panthers, and just the Panthers have no identity right now. Christian McCaffrey went out, and it's just everything went downhill. They don't know who the starting quarterback is, if it's Cam Newton, if it's PJ Walker, even Sam Darnold, was said to come back from IR this week. They have 3 quarterbacks, and none of them are starters. So I think the Bills are going to handle whoever they have to play. I think Matt Rule is probably, if he's not out this year, he's going to be out next year because he's just not the coach for this team. And so 10.5, another 10.5, Cowboys minus 10.5, Bills minus 10.5. Start off with the big dogs. And then
And you know what's crazy about that too is I really, in my brain, both of those are locks. And I might feel differently later in the week, but it's very rare that I see a double-digit spread that I'm like, oh yeah, like that's for sure going to happen. And I feel that way twice this week, which has me a little bit nervous just as a better, like what's going on in my brain. But I really like those. I think I'm gonna lock those in, probably as soon as we're done recording, because I don't want those lines up to 14 on Sunday.
I mean, the only thing that could change, obviously, is COVID. And,
Sure.
with everything that's happening, I might wait for something like the Cowboys. I'm going to bet that today, because there has to be a lot of weird things for that 10.5 not to hit. With the Bills, if Josh Allen doesn't play, that probably won't hit. But yeah, I mean, these, if it stays exactly like it is right now, these are definitely locks. The next game is kind of confusing for me.
I don't get it.
You don't get it. I don't get it either. I'm big on the Bengals. I know you're big on the Bengals. The Bengals are getting 2.5 points against the Broncos. The Broncos played the Lions last week, and the Lions were decimated with COVID and decimated with injuries, and they barely had enough players to get on the field. And for some reason, sports books are basing this game off of that.
And just in addition to that too, there was a huge emotional driving factor behind the Denver Broncos as well, with the death of Demaryius Thomas. They wanted to honor him, and they did do that. But I don't understand why Vegas is so much like overcorrecting here. I get the Bengals lost a close one against a good 49er team last week, but how on earth are they 2.5 point underdogs?
I don't know. So I'm going to take that free money plus 2.5. It's minus 105 odds. 25 wins you 48.81. But then I'm also taking the money line. I mean, 25 wins you 56.25. I mean, that's obviously more than double your money there. And this one, I mean, I feel comfortable about this one. So
do you see that line changing at all between now and do you think Vegas will figure it out later?
I don't think it's going to flop teams unless, COVID happens. I think the Bengals are still going to get money and points, by Sunday. So this might drop to a 1.5 type, play. But still, I think they went outright. So take the 1.5, sure, and then do the money line for sure. Next game, I would take this one today. And if COVID happens, whatever, you play next week. But the Packers minus 4.5, minus 110, 25 wins you 47.73 against the Ravens. The Ravens, I said it last week, I'd be happy. The only way I'd be happy if the Patriots are the 1 seed is if the Ravens aren't, because they're a fraud of a team. And here we are. Obviously Lamar got hurt and they did cover. Last week we did the Ravens +3. They barely covered, but they covered.
They covered. It counts.
Yeah, they're not going to cover this week. So the Packers minus 4.5. I could see the Packers winning that if Lamar doesn't play.
They could win by 20. I mean, the Packers are just such a hot team right now.
Yeah, if Lamar does play, this is probably going to be a 10-point game, which is more than 4.5. The Packers are just loaded on their side of the ball. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, even though he had a setback with his toe, he's going to play. All right? There's no way that Aaron Rodgers is not going to play because he's trying to be MVP again. Devontae Adams scored last week.
He's a monster.
Once they figure it out behind Devontae, this is going to be great, which is what we say every year because he never gets help. Randall Cobb coming back, he's a prehistoric fossil who's now hurt. So, they don't need him. The defense is scoring touchdowns. It's fine. Packers got this. Packers minus 4.5. Book that one today. And then last but not least, before I do a fun little play to end, the Vikings minus 3.5. I don't like the Vikings at all. And I said that. And, the Vikings, they came out last week and they beat the Steelers. They're against a lot worse team.
Almost choked it.
They almost did. They're against a lot worse team than the Bears. And the spread is only 3.5. If you're looking at the Vikings as a whole, I think Dalvin Cook is all right since he went for basically 200 yards. He did go it was over 200 yards all purpose. 2 touchdowns. Osborne came in and played for Thielen. He had a bomb. He got a touchdown. Jefferson was out of control. I mean, their defense is not great, but they're going against a Bears team that is, all they could do is big plays and hope for the best. And that's what happened against the Packers, but the Packers roared back, and that was that. So, just to recap everything, Cowboys minus 10.5 against the Giants, Bills minus 10.5 against the Panthers, Bengals plus 2.5, and then Bengals money line against the Broncos, Packers minus 4.5 against the Ravens, and Vikings minus 3.5 against the Bears. And that Vikings line is minus 110 as well. 25 wins you 47-73. And then one quick fun play that I like this week, which we can't talk about because the lines aren't out yet because the Browns are just getting destroyed right now with COVID. The Raiders and the Colts both score over 20.5. Those odds are at plus 300 now on Caesars. $25 wins you $100. Just based on the Browns roster right now, it's going to be kind of like a Lions situation if they can't come back, which we don't know kind of who's vaccinated, who's not. But yeah, if you don't have the people on defense, I really think that the Raiders can score on backups. And then the Colts, Jonathan Taylor is probably going to score twice himself. So, I really think even though it's the Patriots are going to try to eliminate Jonathan Taylor. They're not going to eliminate Jonathan Taylor. You can't eliminate Jonathan Taylor. He's the best running back in the league right now. So,
and just in addition to that point, like the Colts have other pieces. Like the Patriots model of shutting down your best weapon only really, really works out if you don't really have a great two option. Yeah. The Colts do that. They have a dynamic of enough offense where if you're going to solely commit to shutting down the run, they will beat you over the top. So
yeah. Michael Pittman is going to be big. I mean, they should try to shut down Pittman because there's not going to be a chance for them to shut down Taylor. So if they try to shut down Pittman, then you got T.Y. Hilton, who is not having a terrible year this year. They have options, they have those three big options. And the Patriots are getting points in this game, which is also a little strange for me, but it's not something that I want to bet on because the Colts are red hot right now. The Patriots are the reddest of hot. But we kind of don't know where they're at based on last game, playing in that windstorm. We don't know how, if they played the game fully against Buffalo, we don't know how that game would have ended up. So I want to see them play a good team before I jump back on their bandwagon 100%. But a lot of good bets this week. Last week we were perfect. The week before, I think we were almost perfect. This week, let's do perfect again. And let's try to get some of these fun bets too, just to keep it interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much to everyone who contributed to the show tonight. Or today, whenever. It's weird because we're doing it today, but it's going to come out tonight. Thank you so much to everyone at the In the Money Media Network. Thank you so much to our friends over at Chalkboard. Congratulations to our whiskey winner, Simon. Congratulations again. We'll be getting in contact soon with you on how to send that over. That's going to do it for this week's edition of The Odds Honest Truth. Make sure you tune in on Twitter Sunday. Probably, let's call it noon. Let's call it the crack of noon, Rich. Eastern time for all of our worldwide listeners. Over at Odds Honest Truth, we'll be going live there to discuss our NFL AM picks. This has been a very fun edition of The Odds Honest Truth. We hope you've been enjoying watching and listening. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you do so. For Rich and everyone else who has joined us this evening, I am Craig Gorbanoff, and allegedly, that'll do it.